What's involved to get involved in something that deep? Like, what did you guys do? What would you say?
Oh, that's a bit Lenny, we had our business together. We had publishing companies with Universal. We had the top of the top people who were on top of the top. So it was very easy to do. Yeah, you could pick over a lawyer. It was nothing. It was a done deal.
Just make the call.
Yeah, just make the call, right?
Oh, no, oh hell no. Oh hell no.
And look, and then like to go into like, and then like all the calls we were getting, like you were mentioning, like Melissa Morgan, Paul Abdul, and then Tommy Mottola called and said, "I want to have a meeting with you guys." So this Quincy Jones letter, Tommy Mottola invites us to his office. So we walk in Tommy Mottola's office. Lenny, that office was incredible. He wants us to do Michael Jackson, Stranger in Moscow remix. So we didn't turn him down. We was like, yeah, we'll do it. And it just, after that point, doing the remixes for him. And right after that, it just, things were just going, man. We had a lot going on. That's why we had to have Spen and people to come and help us.
On the Michael Jackson, did he re-sing the vocals for you guys?
No, that was a stretching nightmare. This was before
the story. So yeah, listen to this, everyone.
This was a stretching nightmare because we didn't have the technology that we have now. And let me tell you something. This man recorded the whole vocals, popping and clicking and stomping his feet. And we had to work, we time stretched it because it was like around 60 beats per minute. So we doubled it. But then we had all these clicks and pops and we had to edit out. It was very tedious. But it was Michael Jackson, so we did it.
And you know what? And proud of it too.
Oh, hell yeah. We had to do it,
But was that part of the premise too? Did you guys want to do a lot of remixes, or you just wanted to be a Motown situation?
I never wanted to do remixes. I'm not a remixer. I'll tell, and that's why that's why you see most of the remixes that was done by Spen And Karizma. Because I like original. I don't want to be boxed into a thing. I like to have my creativity be a little bit more open. So I like to build songs from the ground up and explore and layer and do all that. And with a remix, you're basically contained to the melody that's there. You can't really go outside of it, So I never love remixes. That's why you don't see me doing a lot of remixes. I don't do a lot of remixes.
Okay, no, I know that. We've spoken about that off camera many times.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell the fans that maybe they're wondering, is Teddy, his nose too high?
No, I don't enjoy it. I'm enjoying the new projects that I'm doing. Speaking of Quincy Jones, I'm doing a tribute to Quincy Jones. It's called Tribute to Q. It's to make up for what I didn't do with him back in the day. I'm just doing like 5 songs. It was going to be more songs, but COVID put an end to that last year. I was working on it.
We'll get to that COVID thing in a minute.
But anyway, it's 5 songs coming out later on summers. It's inspired Quincy Jones songs from his old songs that I wrote new songs from. So it's a very interesting project.
Oh, yes. So now we're talking about you have this great situation in the 90s of cooking and you're DJing. That I know for a fact he enjoys because I've seen him play many times.
I love DJing.
He gyrates on those turntables. He's
looking like a damn fool.
He like whipped it up there. It's like, yo, he's up and down. No, you don't look a damn fool. You just look like someone who's into what they're doing.
Hey, man, and I wish I could control it. I've read comments that I hate. I've heard people that I admire, and I'm not going to say no names, who make fun of people jumping up and around, turning across over, looking like a jungle bunny. Da, 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 da. And let me tell you something. If I could control that, I would, but I can't. It is natural to me. I know people who make up and do it as a show and fake it. But Teddy Douglas, and I know quite a few people who, like Joe Claussell and a few other, that is not a fake. That is from here. And if you don't feel it from here, how am I expecting you to translate to the dance floor. So that's all it is. And basically, I wish I could dance. I'm up there wishing that I could dance, but I can't because I'm in the DJ booth and I'm contained.
Right.
So only thing I can do is jump up and down, But it's not fake, and I really resent people who say, "Oh, I ain't turning the crossover fake." That's a feeling, And I know people who do the crossover really badly. I know people who do it really well.
Both, right? It's either one or the other.
But I love the crossover. I was doing the crossover before we had a crossover. I had my New York mixer, and they had the little EQs on the side, and I was taking the bass out because back in those days, I heard DJs like Larry Levan and Wayne Davis, who had Richard Long sound systems, was crossover. That's what that was. I mean, and then when the moment you heard the bass come out, you'd be like, "Oh hell, what the?" You know what I mean?
And when they hear the tapes of the playback, the problem with the playbacks are, unless it was a microphone,
you didn't get that.
You don't get it because that's controlling the sound system.
The sound, right? The output, right?
It's not an isolator. Not like everybody's got the isolator, and they can do the the drops,
right?
Chords digitally. But if you don't have an isolator and you're working off a traditional RO system,
you're not going to get that. Well, that's where I got it from. I mean, that technique is old as and ancient as it didn't begin with Joe Closell and not going to end with Joe. That technique is old. The isolator. That thing is old. And I love it.
Dearly.
I love it. I love it when people do it tastefully and with purpose. Don't just take the damn bass out to be taking the bass out. You
gotta know when to do it.
Let me tell you, when I was going to the clubhouse back in the day, there was two DJs, Tito and Mandrill. Tito was the main one, but Tito's whole thing, everybody's different. Tito's whole thing was, what I learned too, he would hold it back, and you would think that was all the bass that they had. I mean, you wouldn't hear nothing, no change in it until maybe mid part of the night. And all of a sudden, you hear this enormous amount of bass come from out of nowhere, off of a like a peak song like "Keep On," D-Train, or something like that. And all of a sudden, he would hold that sub back, and then about the quarter, he would hold it back to. Then that's creativity. He would hold it back to maybe the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden, you hear this boom, and the club would just go, just.
You know what that's called?
What?
Ready? And I used to hear it. We go like this: Showtime.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Timmy was good at that.
Right.
Timmy Register was great at that. Tony Humphries was great at that.
Right.
Tony's not a big guy that works with the crossover.
Tony was never a big crossover guy. No.
He just was doing the records. He make them sound good.
Tony was never a big crossover guy.
Timmy would work the top end of a system. Like you hear
but Tony's whole thing was his blending would be so impeccable. Two records would be going together, and you'd be like, "Damn!"
It's like, yo, when is it gonna stop?
I remember no DJ has ever, and I mean ever, put me on my knees. And I will never forget, this was 19, this was a New Music Seminar night, Zanzibar at a party. I was on my knees, like saying, "Stop, please stop, Tony, please stop."
Nobody
praying. Stop, please, stop it. Stop. And the record, I remember the record.
Go ahead.
The record was Seedy Films by Soft Cell. Seedy Film. He killed that record. He had me on my knees. This is down tempo. It's kind of like a sleazy disco kind of thing that, and it was late in the morning, and he had the whole club just in euphoria.
Euphoria. Yo, I talk about one mix he would do from CJ and Company. Not We Got Our Own Thing, not Devil's Gun. He would play Sure Can't Go to the Moon.
Right.
And sure can't. He just ride over a house record. 11 minutes you're going. Sure can't go to. Let it in. Let it in.
No.
There's a lick. Come on, drop it already. Like sure can't go to the moon except Mother Nature, and then play do 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 do. Oh man.
Yeah, man. No, that was it, man. So it just, you know, DJing thing kind of like went hand in hand. You know, I started going to Italy. I met Maurizio. I met you guys. I started hanging out with some of the, you know, Italians, and we had Jasper Street back then, and we had the label going. We all started independent record labels. Masters at Work had their label, Yellow Orange, Basin Boys, Def Mix. We all basically, the majors had kind of like said we had enough of you guys. So we started all these independent labels, and that's how house music, especially our tribe of house music, has been able to move forward. Because if it wasn't for that period of all of us starting out independent labels, it might have just died. I mean, we kept it going, you know. Strictly Rhythm, all those independent labels, 8-Ball, all of those independent labels were essential for the evolution, for it to keep going, you know, for it to keep going.
And sure did, because I mean, I'm so blessed that I was able to mix a very iconic record of, you know, You're Involved With The Feeling.
Yeah.
I was one of the
Yeah, the label, man. We celebrating our 100th release coming up with a Byron Stingily record. It's from the Monday Night Studio Sessions at the Rockwell album. Yes. And Byron is, of course, I don't know, Byron Stingily is an old, me and him, like, that's my big brother. And he came to Baltimore when we do these parties on Monday night. On Tuesday, I would go into the studio with the artist. So this is our 100th release. It's coming out beginning of May. So we got a brand new website. It's called We Belong Together.
So, Ted, let's talk about the real stuff now.
Uh-oh.
Success is success, and I did it with Morales too, and I'm going to do the same with you, and you got to tell the dark part. You talked about the great moments. When you hit the crossroad, you know, you talked about that X.
The X, yes.
You know, that X. When does the year come that you say, oh, I don't know anymore if I want to do this?
It's all a blur, but I would say 2004, somewhere around there. After, you know, seeing vinyl sales go from, we're moving like 10,000, 20,000 pieces of vinyl to like 5,000. Because this was before Track Source, everybody. This is before you could download a single from your computer. You know, we're selling vinyl. And that was the beginning of we seeing vinyl sales shrink. And the whole, you know, I don't know why I call it Soulful House. I wish they would stop calling it Soulful House. I have a really big problem with the category thing. You know, how everybody's been pushed down into this, you know, if it's soulful, then it's black somehow. If it's soulful, if it's African, it's some kind of, it feels segregated to me, but I don't want to start getting political. But
you have to explain, because we came from a point that we said house music.
Right, exactly. It was just house music. And so we were starting to sell less and less. And in the context, we had $1 million facility that the business wasn't supporting anymore. You know, those deals were dried up. Bobby Shaw didn't have a job anymore at MCA. All our A&R people didn't have a job. Bruce Carbone didn't have a job. No one had a job, basically. They closed all the black departments at these major labels. There was a big transition happening. And with the facility, I decided, instead of just trying to keep this, you know, going and going and going, I figured we were living in days gone by, is to just, in my mind, I left the music business. When I told Ronnie Harrell, I did an interview with Ronnie Harrell at My Soul last week. He said, you left the music? And he said, yes, I did. Many people don't know that I left the music business for about 3 years.
I remember. We spoke.
You know, I sold the $1 million facility. Spen, he decided, because he left earlier. He saw the writing on the wall. He said he wanted to go and do his own thing. And we gave him his blessing. He started Code Red Records. And at that time, I hung on to the studio. Well, Karizma had left right before he left. So basically, I sold the studio. I sold the building. I have a lot of equipment in my basement right now that I'm going to have a Basement Boys sale coming up. Look for it. Original equipment. You can have the original gear. But we sold the SSL console, and I moved to Pennsylvania. I moved to York, Pennsylvania, and I bought a small house up in the mountain, and I was done, Lenny. I was done. Now, I didn't do anything for about 3 years. I didn't make not one record. And at that time, I might have made a mistake, but in my mind, I didn't really care because Spen and Karizma and all that, it was all about, them, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Until I got a phone call. I got 2 calls. I'm gonna tell you what brought me out of this thing, because if you close your eyes, you can think, Spen was if anybody don't know this, Spen was my opening DJ. He worked at Basement Boys all those years, and I told him, come on, roll with me, be my opening DJ, and that's how he got his whole chops out there. And if you close your eyes, he could be me sometimes. So for me being absent, it was very easy to fill that in. A lot of promoters was using, the fact that he was with Basement Boys to use that as part of the promotion. And it infuriated me a little bit, but it was all my doing, so I didn't care. But I had a phone call, Lenny, and the phone call was an incredible phone call. It was from Valerie Simpson from Ashford Simpson. She called me. She said my name and Frankie Knuckles' name was going around to produce some songs for her. They were doing an adaptation of a book called Invisible Life that they were doing in New York City, a couple of shows at the Apollo Theater. And the guy who was actually supervising the whole thing, was actually producing it, was a guy named Proteus, whom I know from the club era from back in Baltimore. He used to live here, but he lived in New York. So he actually called me and said, Valerie Simpson said she wants you to produce some songs. I'm sending you some demos. I'm sending you some footage of her and Nick in their apartment, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what you think. Man, that was the call. It brought me out of my retirement. I said, well, I guess I'm not retired anymore, man. So I packed my bags and I moved to Harlem. I lived in Harlem for about 3 weeks, and I did the shows at the Apollo with them. I met Valerie and Freddie Jackson and all those famous people and stuff. And then my guitar player, Wayne Cooper, and one of my artists whom I was working with, Margaret Grace, we were doing like some cool, like kind of acoustic stuff. She said, you can't quit. You can't quit. So I went to the studio and I redid one of the songs that we worked on called What You Gonna Do. And that was the song that brought me back out. It got me a deal with Judy at Downtown 161 and put out vinyl, had my own label. I was done with Basement Boys. I was done. I was like, I'm not doing anything. This is Teddy's moment, And that did it, man. One record to the next. It was that, and then I did God Created Woman. And then, so this was the Phoenix Rising kind of thing, out of the ashes, here I come. And here I am.
One thing I remember that if I remember correctly, I can't remember, there was a male artist you were starting to push into, I think, R&B as well.
Marcel, that was right after Margaret, yeah. Yeah, Marcel Russell, yeah.
Yeah, you were trying to get that locked in.
Yeah, I did. That was me exercising some demons, Lenny, just trying to exercise, my creativity, get it all out, type thing, And it was perfectly therapeutic for me, to do that. So I did that, and now I got some projects, that I started the Monday Night Studio Sessions right after the Paradox closed. That the iconic Paradox here in Baltimore. I started this night called Monday Night Studio Sessions at the Rockwell with my friend DJ Tom. And I started calling up everybody, Kenny Bobby and Barbara Tucker. Layla Hathaway did it. I just called out all the people at all my and said, look, can y'all come do this? And they would come and do this live PA with interaction between percussion player Dave Vaughn and Charles Dawkins on the keyboard and me and Tom's DJ. Man, it's an experience. But COVID, shut it down. I mean, we were rolling, Lenny. So on Tuesday, if they were out of town, I would take them into the studio and record a song. So that's what this album is.
What studio are you saying? I'm taking them into the studio. What you don't have the facility, so tell people where you're working out of now. You have a setup again? What did you do?
So right after me coming back to making records, I work out of 2 studios. I don't have my own studio, so Greg Lewis, my friend, DJ Greg Lewis from high school, again, here he comes again. I think things never happen like for a reason. I think everything that happens in your life is supposed to, and you'll find out as your life opens up, and then explores and opens up to you. And Greg has a studio built in his house, nice studio, and I work out of his room a couple days a week, and I work out of another room, a friend of mine room, Bill Pratt's room. So I have 2, a Mac room and a PC room. And it's different, Lenny. I can't go over and move the faders on the SSL and all of that stuff. It's a whole, these kids work so different. This computer thing is totally not the way I used to make records, but I had to adapt. I had to adapt to, just looking at a screen, basically, and it took about a year or so for me to actually learn how to come out of my, the way I used to make records.
But here's the thing that I'm going to say, personally speaking, okay? If you take a break and then the years go by, now you have certain markers in your mind as to how you would process a record, how it would sell, all these things that that are your DNA.
Right.
Come back into this so-called digital streaming world. What is that like for you, coming as a professional dinosaur that is, has the tattoos and the gold records and all that, to now translating into this streaming operation?
It's not happening for me. I'm on my way out, Lenny. This is it. I'm ready to close up shop again. There's not music business anymore. There's no business. That streaming thing is ridiculous. If this is what we're doing, Spotify is what I aspire to be. That's crap. That's just the way I feel. I think it's crap. And I'm glad I'm on my last chapter of my career, not the beginning. That's all I have to say about that. Because it's crap. You can't make any money.
No, it's okay. It's understandable. I totally understand.
I speak the truth. I speak my truth, and I'm not a fan of it. I hate the streaming situation. I hate I hate it how we totally, which I'm loving vinyl is coming back, but the way we obtain music, I never was a fan of that. I'd rather, go to my local record shop. But that's not the way it is. But I'm not one of those guys that, I wish it was dated like it was before. I'm just out. No big deal to me. I'm just out.
Are you looking at it from like the picture window, from looking through the window? Is that how we see it now? Or because you don't want to be in the game, you just rather look from outside in?
No, I just rather be in the game, but on the side having a cocktail, smoking a joint or something, as opposed to trying to hustle and try to make everybody see me, get me 1 million followers and make everybody, oh, look at me. Nah, that's not what I want. I want to still be in the room. I don't want to be on the outside. I want to be at the bar chilling. Yeah.
I know it's hard. And I tell people, when you're used to a certain way of things, a certain style, a certain lifestyle of how things rolled, and that's how we were all brought up.
Right.
Like it was different before. We came into something that was already rolling, and then all of a sudden, within a moment of a blink of an eye, changed.
Yep. I think the kids don't have no respect for production anymore. They just take all my records and just sample them and take the hooks from the acapellas and make new records out of them. It's terrible. You don't know how many lawsuits I could go after on a daily basis of people ripping off my music, man. It's horrible.
You got to pick and choose because some of them are not worth it. Some of the people...
Exactly. The whole thing isn't worth it.
It ain't Diana Ross, bro. It's some DJ X in his bedroom putting out some streams.
Exactly, and they don't have no respect. They just go grab an acapella and put something on it and then sell it.
Oh man, I know that's the tough part of it. And it's disheartening too that, all this great stuff that you did, that you wrote and worked on.
Yeah, we all were original back in the day. I mean, I can think of all the talented of my peers that we were all coming up in the 90s and all making that original music. You know what I mean? Even you, Lenny, you're part of the fabric.
I know. Well, I know. Today I'm a media man. Yes, producer.
But you are part of the fabric.
Thank you for including me. I appreciate it. There's a lot of great talent that we were all amongst, rubbing shoulders and doing what we do. Something that we didn't care about the money. Yes, we cared about the business, but we didn't care about it because if it came, it was fantastic because that was a trophy.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Man. So you really got to but you never retire from this. You love making music.
Oh, dude, and what I'm doing is, because I have a lot of kids who send me daily message, I don't sign records to Basement Boys Records, so I don't sign records like I used to. I don't develop artists like I used to. What I'm doing is my time. It's whatever I feel like doing. If somebody calls me and I feel like Linda Clifford called me and say, let's do a record, we're doing a record together.
Right.
So I'm only working with people that I want to work with. So it's kind of like that, Lenny. It's not like I'm not going to be doing it, but I'm not going to be out here like looking to develop, talent like I did before and that whole thing. I'm out of that business. Yeah, I'm out of that business.
So you're not the A&R looking for those new artists.
I'm not in that business anymore. No. Nah. I'm done with that. Actually, this is my time. I'm going to be focusing a lot on like the back catalog of Basement Boys. I'm going to get a lot. I want to interject some of the young remixers into some of our back catalog and have them remix some of it or most of it. I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to do projects that are dear to me, like the Quincy Jones thing I'm doing. And I'm doing a project for my little brother on Quantize. It's called Baltimore, Philadelphia International, where I take a lot of Philadelphia international records that he's done and what I've done. I put them together in an album, remixed them, re-sang them, reinterpreted them. And that's going to be on Quantize. Teddy's going to have a record on Quantize. But when Spen did his label, he said, man, you got to do something with my label. And I was like, oh, man, fuck that. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing. Then I said, you know what? I want to do so. I said, but he wanted me to take his catalog and do something, but I said I have to do it my way. So it took a minute for me to figure out how I was going to do it and have fun with it. So I called him up one day and I said, Spen, I figured it out. I know what I'm going to do for your label. And so we having a lot of fun with it. It should be out later on in the summer.
So who's involved in it? What artists do you have involved?
Richard Burton's doing the Teddy Pendergrass covers. We got Bad Luck, You Can't Hide. And then I just did the Greatest Inspiration with Jasper Street Company. He redid Don't Leave Me This Way, which is killer. Met him, Tasha, LaRae, Carmen Brown. Ooh, Carmen Brown. I did 2 songs with Carmen. Carmen, I hope you're watching. Because she's been calling me. She's been really like calling, where my record? And I told her, Carmen, if anybody knows Teddy doesn't do records fast. I don't do records fast. I just don't. Never have. But she did the Gene Con Town Waits for No One. What? And I had her do Was That All It Was?
When you do these records like this, how do you top what's already something that's a masterpiece. You know, those records in their original versions, you know how amazing.
Right. Yeah. Well,
how do you approach it? What do you do as a?
Well, you don't think about topping it. You think about making it the best record it can be. And I wanted somebody who had a mature voice. I couldn't just get like any young girl to sing a Gene Con lyric. You know what I mean? I had to have somebody who had a mature voice. And Carmen Brown's been around. I didn't know Carmen Brown was been around since Symphonia days back in Atlanta. And when we were in the studio and we were talking about, wow, Carmen. So she has the maturity to pull off a Gene Con record.
Oh, hell yeah. She's a great vocalist.
She's a great vocalist. So it's easy. When you work with the right people, Lenny, it's easy.
Right. Because they're coming with full talent and they are now going.
They're coming with experience. And she's gonna be a wonder. And she gave it, boy. She gave it. So yeah, look out for that. That's coming on Quantize. So the whole album, Carmen Brown, Richard Red, it's gonna be dope. So
you understand the Quantize. Let's use We're not gonna badmouth Quantize, everybody. Let me just use them as the
you better not.
With Michael Proctor, and Spen's been on the show. How can that happen? That's not the case. The business model. Do you get it? Do you understand it? How he's releasing like a machine.
Oh.
I brought up on the show too. I said you release people wrote to me that they release a lot. What's your opinion?
I have this conversation with my little brother all the time. We talk about it. That's my little brother, man. I talk about it to him. And his philosophy is Strictly Rhythm, for example. Strictly Rhythm was throwing records out like it was nobody's business at one time. You remember?
Oh, I remember.
Okay. So his philosophy is
2 a week if it was, remember, 2 a week.
Right. Boom, 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 boom. And I can't keep up with it. But that's his philosophy, and I have to respect him for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's doing the Strictly Rhythm thing, you know, boom, boom, boom. And, you know, sometimes I can miss a record because, you know, I'm trying to go through my email, and I'm old, you know what I mean? I miss a lot of emails. So I end up playing when I hear people, oh, yeah, that's so cool. I like that. I mean, and that's how, you know. But that's his philosophy, man. And it's the Strictly Rhythm old rule, you know?
Well, the Carmen Brown came up and read it to you. I heard y'all were talking about.
What's up, Carmen?
Some love. Teddy and Lenny are working it and talking. Yes. So let's go on. So you basically, it's like everybody. I get so many promos, and between everything we're doing, it's tough to keep up.
It is. It really is, man.
It's tough to keep up. And I
don't even go to Track Source like that, man. I'm just done. It's like done. I don't have time for that. I go there once in a while, you know. It's a lot. And it's a lot.
Do you miss playing vinyl? Would you rather be playing vinyl all day and enough of the MP3s and WAV files?
I used to do a vinyl party on my birthday here in Baltimore, and it's so much fun, and the kids love it. They love it. Yo, Teddy, when you gonna do another vinyl party? But we had COVID, and I couldn't. You know, it's all shut down. Yep, no birthday party this year. Last year, actually, 2020.
And see, you know what? Let's talk about that too. Does it feel like a blur? This whole, since we shut down, like everything.
Yeah.
How are you coping with it? How are you coping with this whole, you know, hide in your house and wait to come out and play?
Lenny, I didn't leave my house. The last party I went to was Ultra's Deep Sugar party. Louis came down, and it was funny because Louis, after he left, we called each other. He said, "Yo, man," he said, "I'm sorry for acting weird, but." You know, we both laughed because he had on gloves. He had just come back from Japan, and this was like January. They were all, and I like we usually hug and you know like what's up, yo, what's up, yo. We did like yo, what's up from a distance. It's been weird. It's been so weird.
In fact, everyone, you know what? You notice the screen split between him and I. we're right now going to get arrested because we're too close.
So basically, that was the last time I was out for the whole entire year. Like, I usually have a Christmas party. I didn't have that. So I started going back into the studio around September of 2020 with a mask on, and we're working 1 day a week, trying to finish up all the stuff that I had in the can. Thankfully, I had all that stuff in the can, Lenny, so I didn't have to have musicians or people to come into the studio because we were only like allowing like me and an engineer. That's it, But I had all these great things and it just waiting to be mixed and produced and arranged and stuff. So I was working, man. I've been working ever since.
Good for you.
Yeah, man. I've been working since September. And I'm still working, finishing up the Quincy Jones project and Spen's project in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, man, I've been working, man. And then I'm going to be looking for remixes to start working on remixing some of the back.
So for the aspiring remixers that are watching the show, what are we looking for in the remixer? Like, what exactly is the criteria in your mind?
I want somebody that's creative, and I don't know everything. I want somebody, the younger, interject some of the younger talent and some of the younger ideas. So I'm going to be opening it up to people to submit your favorite remixes. We probably have a little, contest or something like that to submit some acapellas, that you can download and then make your own remix from it, and then maybe the best one mix. But then I'm also want to call on some people like Dr. Packer and Michael Gray and even yourself, Lenny. Lenny, you're a great remixer, man. You do phenomenal work. So I'm gonna be calling you up.
To thousands of people are watching this show. Okay, everybody, like I'm gonna say no.
Got you a camera.
It's already happened 4 times before. He moved did the same thing. Can I count on you? Like this. I went like this, the pregnant pause. Of course.
I've been turning down gigs, man. I haven't
all the time. You know that. You're fam. Families doesn't say no to fam unless we didn't have
right. That's right. That's right. But Lenny, I've been turning down gigs. I just turned down another gig today.
Where exactly these gigs that you're being offered from? Where?
Atlanta, outdoor festival in Atlanta, festival in Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
They're mainly in the States.
Because I was wondering, because there's nothing in Europe right now.
No, they're not bringing no Americans in Europe.
Ooh.
Keep your COVID behinds in America.
Americanos are dirty.
No Americans in the no. And David's doing it because David lives over there. That's what David.
I remember this correctly. Me and him finished in Italy. We're traveling to the plane, and the police stopped Teddy. I had this memory out of nowhere. They stopped you next to me, and I gotta start talking to the Italian police in Italian to get off him. You remember? Like he's like, "What are you doing?" They grabbed him.
That's the time I got stopped with the dogs.
Yes! Teddy's with me. He's like, yo, Lenny, what's going on? I said, and I'm starting to talk to him in Italian, and they're asking him he's got drugs. So he's got no drugs.
I had drugs.
I know that.
And look, and I had dreadlocks too. I cut my hair right after that. I cut my hair all off.
And I said, Teddy, you almost got locked up. He said, damn, thank God we got through that. Goddamn cops. The hell did he stopping me for? I said, yo, man, you are a target, bro. We're in Europe.
I had drugs on me, yo. Oh, bro, those days, man. I don't do that anymore, man. I stopped doing it. After that, I don't travel. I told the promoter, look, I don't care what it is. Alcohol, whatever I need, you better have it when I get there. So I'm not traveling with no drug paraphernalia. Ever again.
Real. That's called keeping it real.
Keeping it real on True House Stories, right?
That's right. Now, do you need things to play a full night, or do you feel comfortable just with the music and a little alcohol to take some of the edge off? Do you still feel like you need that, like back in the day, like,
right, you needed weed and all kind of stuff.
I don't want to say exactly what you need.
But I always like to have a glass of champagne. I don't necessarily drink as much as I used to because I'm older now. And I used to. I remember Dave Morales, who was in Italy. He used to come in the booth at the club. What's the name of that club? Is it Angels? What's the club that has
Angels of Love in Naples or where? Fiscalado?
In Naples.
Yeah, that's at Metropolis. Angels of Love.
Well, he was a resident there. I opened up for him one night. He came in the booth with a big bottle of Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier was my.
I think that's Fiscalado. Fiscalado.
Yeah, I think that is.
Fiscalado, I remember. Yes.
And he used to come in the booth with his bottle of Grand Marnier. That was my drink. I can't do that. I can't down bottles of Grand Marnier.
The next morning for a flight after you finish. Oh.
Look, one night I woke up and my bed, it was so hot in the room. We were on tour together. Spen woke up and saw that I had pulled my whole entire bed out of the balcony of the hotel. I was dead drunk. He woke up and saw my feet out on the balcony. I'm laid out on the deck like this.
And that ain't what a rock star lifestyle is. That ain't what a rock star.
I tell you, man, I've had an incredible life, Lenny.
You have.
Yeah, I have. When I look back, when I think of when I talk to you, and I go back on my life, man, it's been the journey is what's been incredible. You know, the journey from the record store, you know, to the DJ and then the producer.
Did you ever think in the record shop, could you ever fathom the stardust, the fairy dust that was coming, that this would have been what your life was going to be in the next 20 years in front? Could you ever dream of something like this?
No, man, this is way beyond my dreams. You know, this has exceeded my dreams because all I really wanted was to be around music. And I didn't know, and that was ever since I was a young kid. I was playing records from a 45. I didn't know in what capacity. I didn't know how, where, when, or how. But I knew it had to be around music. And that's what's been my force. That's the driving force. Where I land is where I land, you know?
So you weren't bigger than the music. The music was all about the music.
Exactly. You can never be bigger than the music. I've heard that quote before. And people get it wrong when they think that they're bigger than the music. The music, I'm just a vessel for the music, you know?
What exactly does that mean to a young aspiring producer DJ?
It means that there's only one Louis Vega. There's only one David. There's only one Tony Humphries. Be your authentic self. And if you're supposed to be this person that you aspire to be, it'll happen. That's what it means. All you right. Stay the course. A lot of people don't stay the course. Had I not stayed the course, or left the record store, or I wish I would have worked with Seedy Garrett, though. That's one of my regrets. I would have been working with Quincy Jones. Oh my God, idiot! But I stayed the course. I did, things that in order of how they were supposed to be done. What if I?
Wait a minute, you're old enough to remember the Sanford and Son, for God's sake, the music on there. I would have been like, Teddy, what are you talking about, bro? That's the guy who did.
I know, man. I know.
Austin, Michael Jackson. What are you?
I know. That proves it to you. The music was bigger. It was bigger than Quincy Jones.
Damn.
Because we had these major label deals that was contractual, Lenny. I couldn't. Oh, and that third album, I believe we did get dropped because, Crystal's third album, what was his name? Danny Goldberg. He called me because I had a tour in Japan and I had to finish Crystal's album. He told me, if you don't finish Crystal's album next week, then you can say goodbye to your deal. I said, look, man, I'm going to Japan. I'll do it when I get back. We got dropped. But to be fair, we all got dropped. Brian McKnight got dropped. Vanessa Williams. Us.
They were looking for a reason.
Exactly.
You knew the writing was on the wall.
The writing was on the wall. They were shutting Mercury down. You know what I mean?
Your deal is toast. You're going to be 86th.
Right. And I was like, man, look, I'm doing, and at that time, like Yellow was big, you know, the big club.
Yeah, I remember all the, yeah. It was like,
and I was like, man, this is my debut at Yellow. You crazy, man. I'm going to Japan.
you were waiting for that daughter. I remember you asking me, yo, Lenny, did you go to Japan? I said, I've been to Japan 4 times already. You're like, I'm going to Japan. I remember it was right around that time. You were asking me. I said,
yeah, man.
You gotta go.
You gotta go, man. So, I mean, so my career, you know, Lenny, it's been an incredible ride. I'm thankful for a whole host of people that I could never name all the people, but everybody know who they are. Everybody knows, and everybody know what played their part, but part they played in the game. You know,
I hear you.
Yeah. So
we're gonna watch out for your new albums.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're not leaving us yet. You got
Nah. I'm gonna be doing projects that are dear and dear to me. That's it. I'm not gonna be like signing anybody or anything like that. Trying to discover anybody.
Can I just give you some words of wisdom?
Sure, man.
Never say never.
I never said never. I said I'm not going to be.
I'm not sure. You just leave it like, you know why? Because I never thought things that happened, and you just go with the flow. And like I said, you never know that phone call is going to call from Oprah Winfrey. She says, I got this new artist.
Well, see, that's different. That's not me discovering somebody. Oprah discovered him. You know what I mean? That's different. Back in the day, Lenny, we was picking people off the street. You know, like, hey, can you sing? Can you dance? Can you jig? Can you write? Can you dance? Can you play keyboard?
She looks good. All right. Great work. And then, everyone, what we would do is, and Teddy probably say the same, when you're running a company, now you're thinking, what labels are we going to take these artists to the sound?
Right.
It wasn't just a matter of they could sing and dance. It was which A&R person is going to understand what we're doing. If it was not only here, but over in Europe too, in the UK.
Right. Yeah.
And most of our work was licensing records. That was a big part of our job.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Yep. And I want to just keep doing it until it doesn't feel good. You know, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be DJing, because the Rockwell party we're probably going to do as soon as this whole COVID thing opens up.
Welcome back Rockwell party. It's going to be a welcome back.
Yeah, man. Hopefully later this year or maybe next year.
What's your prediction once everybody's COVID free? What do you think is going to happen?
I think people are still going to have a lot of anxiety about going out in crowds. I think that's not going to go away with just a shot in the arm. That's what I believe. I think that might mean a longer period for us to get back to, dancing so close to where you can feel the sweat then bumping up and sweating all over. I don't know. I don't know about that. People's anxiety, people been in the house for a year. People's anxiety levels are going. I know I am now a little bit of a germaphobe, I really am.
Yeah, but you know what? That was never our scene. Our scene was hugging, kissing.
No.
And the towels going like this.
I know, man. So what I'm hoping...
We're going to be like dancing like...
I'm hoping by...
like a TV show? Everybody's like... that's what it's going to look like, for real. I mean, that's sweating and not working out. It's like going to a gym all night long.
Yeah, man. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get back to that. Put it that way. I don't know. Well, I believe we're going to get back, but I don't know how long that will take.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't know how we're going to get there. I don't know what road we're going to have to go down or go up the mountain.
Right. How long it's going to take to get there.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what I need to do. I need to play music again. I'm dying.
Yeah, you do. I've been, what I'm doing? I'm enjoying my soul show. I do a a radio show, My Soul. MySoul.com the last Wednesday of every Wednesday.
I'm doing that. So, no, I get that. I mean, play out with people in front of us screaming and going, yeah.
Well, you know what, man? I'm not into the Twitch DJing in front of a camera thing. So you're not gonna ever see me do that. Even though I did one for our 100th celebrations coming out. We did a 2-hour video where I'm doing my first live virtual set. Spens DJing and Tom.
When is this airing?
This is going to be airing the same time when the single comes out in May.
Okay.
We Belong Together is the name of the single. So we got a new website. We got a new single. We got a 2-hour 100 celebration video with Louis Vegas interviews and Gladys Pizarro and Spence DJing, I'm DJing, Tom's DJing. We got distributors and everybody's saying congratulations. It's kind of like a big celebration. It's really cool. I've been like Steven Spielberg over here putting together like a little mini movie. So that's gonna be in May. It's gonna be in May.
So where do we go and find out the information? We go to TeddyDouglas.com. What do we do?
We got DJ Teddy Douglas Instagram, on my Facebook, Teddy Douglas, or Basin Boys.
Everybody, look. So follow him, please, at Teddy.Douglas. Instagram at DJ Teddy Douglas. Follow him.
Follow me. And or any Basin Boys, basinboys.com. We have a new website in May. We also have a Facebook page, but there'll be plenty advertisement out there telling you what's going to be on YouTube and all the platforms, Facebook.
Do you have an iPhone, Teddy? Or you have?
No, I don't. I'm not an iPhone person. I'm an Android.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why you ask?
Because there's this app that I've been pushing that's really great, and some of the people who have the iPhones have been coming on. It's called Clubhouse, which actually in April I think they're gonna have the Android version, and a lot of the dance music community is on.
Oh, cool!
We want to get you on there because you're part of our alumni. We do a Clubhouse wrap-up show on Thursdays, but we do it on Clubhouse, and people come in and ask questions, and then.
Oh, okay.
We'd love to get you on, but if you don't have an iPhone, you got to wait till April. It's like being out in Odell's.
I'll wait.
You got to wait. Music's playing. Yeah, come in now, boy. All right.
It's all good, man.
But we can't thank you enough. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, we covered a hell of a lot of acreage with you.
Yeah.
And you'll get I'm assuming that you will be getting, because you want to come back out and play in the world. I guess you're going to get the vaccine too.
Yes. I'm getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
I'm getting the vaccine. I want to be able to hug my mom. I take, care of my parents. So I want to be able to do that. As soon as I've been able to get the vaccine, I'm going to get the vaccine. For sure.
All right. You heard that, everybody? Stay vigilant. Put your mask on. Put your gloves on. Put your glasses on. Yeah. Call yourself a doctor.
So, Lenny, I got one funny story before I leave.
Please, go ahead.
I got one funny story that if Louis watching, he'll find this funny. Kenny might not find it so funny. But you were speaking earlier about remixes. At that time we were doing, the Crystal Waters was happening. Everybody was calling us remix. And Louis and Kenny was having their first big party out with Mark Anthony, Ride on the Rhythm, their first big, coming out party. So they called us to remix a single, Ride the Rhythm. And we were like, oh, cool. So we did it. And we didn't hear anything basically for a little bit about whether they liked it, whether they didn't like it or anything. And so Tony Humphries had a version of theirs that he let me say, this record, he let me hear it. They had just taken the keys that Neil Conway had played, the piano, dun, 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 and Kenny stripped the whole track and put new Kenny Dope drums on it, and they called it Masters of Work Remix. We was furious. This is inside dirt, True House Stories dirt. We were so mad. They gave us little credit at the bottom of the record. Keyboards by Neil Conway. Nothing about Bass and Boys. But it's funny now because Louie and I and Kenny and I, we are the closest. We like family. But back then, we was hot to death. I told Tony, I said, Tony, don't play that version. But you couldn't deny it. Kenny Dope's drums was bananas. So, you know, you couldn't deny it. The record was hot to death, you know. But
it is what it is. You know, you deal, you know, I know. Okay, so then I'll ask you this question. I asked Louis the same. Here we go. We all are in the Olympics. We're all gold medal runners, different levels. Some are silver, some are bronze, some are gold. What was the competition like back in the day?
Wow, that's loaded.
Well, that's the truth. Go ahead.
So what's the question?
So the competition like, you know, around you, like you're looking at the different houses, because come on now.
Yeah.
You're looking at the different houses. And I mean, houses each production company had. I don't want to say names, but you can't help but hear the records coming in the mail. So what are you thinking?
We really admired Kenny's drums. I mean, back in that time, Kenny Dope's drums we thought was killer. And of course it was some friendly rivalry going on between the production companies. Of course, man. That made it all fun, actually. You know? We were all like battling.
But it was healthy.
It was very healthy. It was very healthy. They brought the best out in us, and we brought the best out in them. You know, it was Masters at Work, Bass and Boys, Blaze. It was Kevin and Josh, us, and there was a big other. And then it was the Death Mix thing. You know, the whole David was putting out them clean, pristine, Frankie, them pristine sounding records. Our records was a little bit on the rough side, you know, because I like it. But yeah, it was really calm. But I think it was the best. It brought the best out of all of us, you know.
But that's the thing. If you played your record, if I blindfolded myself, I knew it was you. I could hear it.
Right. We like that kick right up in front.
Yeah, the kick was go, and the way things were done, it just. Right. Your syncopation is what made you guys who you are.
And you know what, Lenny? I wish that was going on more. I wish guys would be more. Like I said earlier, I wish guys would be more. I hear a lot of like the same. You know, I don't hear a lot of.
Yes, they copy everything we did. It's like almost like saying word for word, except musically.
Well, I hear a lot of the same. Like, I mean, I hear a lot of course, Louis influences a lot of young kids, but there's only one Louis Vega. You know what I mean? I just wish people would be a little bit more authentic.
It's not easy to be authentic, bro. You got to step out the box. You got to have a big pair of balls.
And you got to fail. And I've had quite a few failures.
Learn to fail.
Exactly. I've had fails. I used to have guys who taught me how to DJ back in the day. Larry Patterson and T. Scott and all those guys. Like, don't be afraid to Mandrill. Don't be afraid to clear the dance floor. Don't be afraid of that. It's clear the motherfucking dance floor. Clear it. That was learned. You don't teach you never to do it again.
Do it one more time. Watch. Lose your job. You'll never do it again. Mr. Larry Levan sitting down, the crowd, right? Now check this out. I used to say this all the time. I'll say it again. I said it last week. Say it every time. Only he can get away with that because he was part of the club. If you were not part of the ownership, or say your father, the club owner is like your dad in a way.
Right.
He sees you don't do no wrong, even though you are crazy and you do take wild shit, and you get a lot of money for them.
Right.
The minute you get fired is a big open your eyes moment.
Right.
And don't be afraid. Take a chance.
Yeah, man. Well, man, thank you, man, for having me today. Thank you, man. I appreciate this. I hope everybody had a great time.
Love you, as always. you'll be able to check them out, of course, on YouTube when we put it up. And also, I'm going to ask Teddy Douglas for a radio mix for the True House Stories Takeover, which we've been doing with all the different ones that have that actually came on the show, have been giving us an hour mix for the True House Story Takeover. And we air at Radio FG and other stations around the world. You don't have to do it live, visual, old school radio mix, no talking.
Go.
DJ,
you got it.
The way we want it.
You got it.
I want to leave everybody with this. Check this out. You're going to like this. Ready? Teddy?
Yep.
Ashley Beadle next week. Black Science Orchestra is going to rock the box, baby. Black Science Orchestra. Ashley Beadle. Check him out next week. And you know it's going to be some crazy stuff talked about. Teddy Douglas, Basic Boy Icon, Crystal Waters, Ultra Tay, Michael Jackson remixer, everything, Grammy nominated, everything as it goes.
Oh man, I didn't even talk about that Jasper Street Company. My God.
Oh, mention the Jasper Street Company now before we go.
Yeah, man. Thanks to Louis Vega for that amazing remix. That nomination we just had for the best remixer for Praying for You. Mike Weiss, Nervous, Andrew, everybody at Nervous Records. Big up to all my partners. Thank you guys.
All right. And that, people, is a True House Stories wrap. Thank you, Teddy.